Hello, Jeff Manchester, Manchester Music. Welcome. I am here apparently reclaiming what is left of masculinity with this urban lumberjack look. I don't know, even though I've never done an honest day's work in my life. Anyway, EastWest, Quantum Leap, sample library company, reached out to me and asked if I would do a review, a walkthrough of their Composer Cloud new sort of product. Now, this is a very novel idea in the sample library space. We know Netflix and Spotify have subscription services, but this is new for sample libraries. So I've known about this company for a while. They're very highly respected, very well regarded, and they were very generous to give me access. So I am going to do just that. I'm going to walk you through how to get sounds from your head out of the website onto the cloud and then into your digital audio workstation. I'm going to be using Logic. But after that, after my little walkthrough, I'm going to be talking about the pros, the cons, my sort of feelings and attitudes about this sample library system, how I found it, thorns, roses, that sort of thing. I want to just say very quickly off the jump here that you might have noticed that in the year that I've been on YouTube, I haven't talked a lot about EastWest. This has nothing to do with the quality of their samples, the people there, the pedigree they have in the industry, their public image, nothing. If anything, they are extremely well regarded. They're probably the biggest player in this space, next to maybe Native Instruments and Spitfire if we go down the road. It has everything to do with the fact that I started my composing trajectory with different instruments, and I needed a Bansuri flute for a project, and I typed that into Google. The first thing that came up was Silk from this company EastWest. So I downloaded it. It was on sale. It was great. And then I was on that highway, and then I just took an exit, and the sign over the exit was contact, and I just never looked back. It has nothing to do with with them as a company or their sounds or anything. They're incredible, but I don't know, just the way it was. So I was actually really happy and intrigued to get this offer from them to look at their stuff and review it, and that's what I'm going to do in a very honest way. So let's jump in. I'll see you after the jump for my overall thoughts and my pros and cons about this system and whether or not you should give it a shot. See you after the jump. All right, so this is the walkthrough video for the Composer Cloud series. This is how I use it, how it would look if you used a Mac, and all the rest of it. So I am on the Sounds Online website, which is the sort of home base for EastWest Quantum Leap. They have a March special that they want you to know about, and I am putting this page up here because this is the plan that I'm on, the $29.99 a month Composer Cloud monthly plan. I can jump in, jump out really easy. I have access to everything. If I want to go up one tier, I commit to a year. And I guess I get 2 months free if I prepay. And I have access to second mic positions for, like they said, the libraries, choirs, and pianos, which for a lot of composers is super important. For me, I'm just happy with this sort of $29.99 plan. Low stakes, easy. Next, Ilock. You're going to need one. Set up an account. It's easy. You don't have to buy a dongle to use this Composer Cloud system. You can buy a dongle, or you just use, I think, the Ilock machine. It's an online setup, very simple to use. So anyway, just showing that there. I already have one, so whatever. Next, download the installation center. Really easy. I've already done that, and it looks something like this right here. Bam. So this shows me all the downloads that are available. It shows that they're all activated because I've activated my Composer Cloud account via Ilock. So really simple. If I scroll down, it shows me all the libraries that I've installed. So as you can see, I've already taken quite a few from the Composer Cloud, and it has more products down here that you can get more information about. So let's just walk through this step by step. If I want to download Fab 4, which sounds like a Beatles-ish instrument, the cool thing is I can just double click, which I did. There's no click noises, sorry. And it takes me right to the page where I can play some samples. Sounds like a nice mellotron there. Anyway, so it's really easy to just get a quick glance and decide whether or not you want to download it. So just for time's sake, I'm going to click on something that maybe has a little less as far as gigage goes. Let's do this, the EastWest Hollywood Harp Gold. If I double click on that, it should take me to the page. It'll take me to the Hollywood Orchestra page where I can get a bit more information, take a look at the interface. This is going to be the play interface, by the way, not contact, not UVI, it's play, so that's important. Go to demos, manuals, videos. They have a lot of stuff, system specs. So I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. I want that. So I'm going to go here to download. It's going to start this little load up bar, and you will join me after, like a cooking show, for when it's actually loaded, and we'll go in and use it together in Logic. All right, so now that we're back, it's been a little while, and the Gold Hollywood Harp has been downloaded. We'll see that it's not in this new downloads folder anymore, or this new downloads section of the installation center. It's actually been demoted to installed libraries, and there it is right there. It's on Jeff's new Beast, which is my external hard drive. That's where I've directed these libraries to download. The one thing I want to say, there's two things. The first off is you need Play. I mentioned Play earlier. That is their interface. I already had a copy of Play installed on my hard drive. So EastWest, the installation center, identified that and went ahead and updated it for me. But it's very easy to get it off the website. Just go there, find it, download it. It's free. Anyway, I'm just saying their sequencer is super sort of slick and easy to find, easy to download. And if you already have it and download the cloud, it'll update more or less automatically. So there's one more thing too that I want to add, and that's that I've had some trouble, EastWest, if you're listening, with this Spaces Reverb plugin. As you can see here, it says installation failed, EastWest Spaces Reverb. I have enough space on my hard drive and my external drive. I've directed all the libraries to the right place. I've signed in and out of Ilock. I've opened the installation center on and off. I've turned my computer on and off. I've done everything short of opening a ticket window with you guys, and that's because I wanted this review to be sort of my honest sort of what happened when I got everything installed. So the installation center itself is great. I was able to download a bunch of libraries, but for this effect, it didn't work. I don't know what happened. I don't find it in my applications, and I will open up a ticket with you guys down the road to get this solved, but in the interest of full disclosure and honesty, I couldn't get this to work. I know it's a highly regarded convolution reverb plugin, and I was disappointed that it didn't go right away, but I'm sure that with some support from you guys, it'll be just fine. But I want to make sure that gets in the video, just as a sort of honest representation of what I went through when I first got this. An otherwise great, smooth experience with the ComposerCloud, by the way. I don't consider this to be a big problem. So anyway, I have EW Hollywood Harp Gold here. It shows me that it's activated and it's installed. And so what I'm going to do is open Logic, and it's going to ask me if I want to open up a new project. That's exactly what I want to do. And you can see that I've chosen instrument here. For those unfamiliar with Logic, you get prompted on what you want to do when you first open up a session. I have AU instruments, EastWest, play. We go 5.1, multi-out. Just going to go stereo. I'm going to create one track to keep it nice and simple. And when I click play, it starts immediately, which I really like, by the way. I just have Silk as a sort of default, but it opens very quickly, and I can go into my favorites and choose the Harp Gold. It's already there. And we have a number of things we can toggle and check around. These are all different articulations and patches. These are patches, rather. The articulations are contained within them in the sample sets. So if I want to, I can just click on Harp Harmonics. It'll ask me if I want to replace Silk, or it'll just go ahead and replace it right away. And we are sort of in. If I go to the player, so now I can play. Oops. So these are obviously, this is a harmonic patch, so this is going to sound not necessarily as full and sort of deep and attack heavy as another patch might, like a standard sort of patch would. But if we want to switch things out, we can just go to the browser and try something else. Maybe we'll go to the Maestro patches here. And this seems to have, see, it says mod, so we might have some mod wheel parameters to adjust. So I can go replace, and just like that. So I have my mod wheel. It seems to be affecting the output. If I get my sustain pedal going in on the action here, we might be able to get some more interesting stuff going. So I'm just going to play a little bit. So we have the reverb on here. I just want to point out we can change. We have all kinds of great stuff to play with. EMT plates. It's a very tweakable system here with play. It's very easy to use, very responsive as well. We can change the microphone panning positions. We can widen the stereo field. We can change our MIDI. We can do all kinds of stuff. We have an ADSR here, a hold as well, which is very helpful. Go into the settings and change our audio settings. We can go into the mixer and just mess around. We're obviously just using one sort of MIDI input at this time. But that's just like, anyway, hopefully what you're getting from this is just how easy it is to pick what we want, learn about it, and then just start using it. We can choose Silk, which is one of my favorites. The Bansuri flute was super helpful for me. This is one thing I really like. This is a performance folder, and this gives you an indication of how the instruments should sound. You know what I mean? Let me show you what I mean. So if I double click on this, I'll replace it. And these are just sort of performances that pro players have played that you can bring into your scores if you want to. But what they're really meant to do is give you a template from which to work when you're creating your own compositions using the key switches and all the rest of it. So if I play a note, you know what I mean? So I can go up the scale and choose something else. So then I can be like, oh, okay, cool. So I'll go into legato mod, pick this, and it'll load it up. Actually, let's go into live at master. Actually, let's go into master. And I've got some key switches down here. Now I'm playing with the mod wheel, which is giving me... Obviously, this kind of takes the attack out of it and the breathiness out. So I think that will conclude the walkthrough portion of this video. Now let's get into our pros and cons and my overall feelings about the ComposerCloud and whether or not it might be right for you. Hey, it's after the jump. I know I'm wearing different clothes. I've sort of reset. It's a different time of day. And that's just because after I shot the walkthrough bit and the intro bit, my neighbors decided to express their love for each other for 4 hours. Either that or they were brutally murdering each other. I couldn't really tell. It sounded the same. But it's quiet now, and I can get to this part of the video. So, thorns, roses, pros, cons on the EastWest ComposerCloud. So I'm going to start with the roses. I'm going to start with the good part. So, first off, the ComposerCloud to me was just a beautiful experience. From a user experience, I was sort of a guinea pig for this. Very smooth, very easy to use, very uncomplicated. I really enjoyed using it. I had one minor snag, which I brought up in the walkthrough video, the Spaces convolution reverb, whatever, not a big deal. I brought this up to EastWest, and they were very receptive about it, but I want to make sure that it's an honest review, and I'm not opening up a ticket and downloading stuff and you're watching it or whatever. I'm sure it's going to be resolved soon, but I wanted to be authentic. That happened, not a big deal. Otherwise, it was a very smooth experience with the ComposerCloud system. Start to finish, downloading libraries, getting to the website, everything. You know, if you find that you're downloading stuff, it's taking a long time, you have a slow internet speed or a very good internet speed, you're downloading 40 gigs, just, you know, click download on a couple libraries, go to bed, wake up, they're going to be ready for you. Now, the other big pro I have is just the system itself and the way that EastWest is sort of turning the concept of ownership and licensing on its head. What do I mean by that? Why is that a pro? First of all, when you buy a sample library from Spitfire, Sonokinetic, ADIO, you're not really buying something that you can own. It's not like you go to a hardware store and you buy a hammer and you're like, this is my hammer. You're buying a license. Okay, you don't own that product. You're buying a license to use that product. So this is why some people run into this kind of frustration of transferring licenses. They go, well, I don't really need the sample library anymore, or actually I don't really like it very much. It's not in the cards for you to refund it or even sell it to someone else because you have a license, not an actual product. Now, some sample library companies will give you the option to transfer your licenses to other people. Native Instruments, for example, make it very quick and easy, very simple. But not everyone does that. The beauty about the Composer Cloud is that, for $30, you can just try everything. And chances are there's something in there for you. There's something you're going to find that's going to make sense for your workflow. And for $30 a month, it might be a gateway drug. You buy Hollywood Strings, don't buy it. You download the Composer Cloud, Hollywood Strings. You find yourself into the ethnic stuff. You find yourself into the percussion stuff. And I really like that. So, we don't own these products anyway. So I really like the idea of just, it's a license that you use for $30, dive in, you have a month to play around. That's a lot of man hours in there. Even if you had a month of just nothing to do but explore the EastWest libraries, you would still find yourself, I think, at a loss for just how much there is to do and play with. So anyway, I like it for that respect. The second thing I have to say, so license transferring ownership, it makes a lot of sense. From a demoing side, it makes so much sense. As you guys know, I'm very keen on developers that are sensitive to students and student discounts and demoing and all this stuff. But there are some sample library companies out there that don't want to demo their stuff. They just don't. They want you to buy it. It is a business after all. For example, Spitfire Audio. I bet EastWest loves that I'm talking about Spitfire. But if you go to their website, they have this section, frequently asked questions, can I demo your stuff? And literally this is what it says. You cannot demo our stuff at this time, but you can go to our YouTube channel and watch a video of someone, like a playthrough video of it. And to me, that's like walking into like a Mustang dealership and being like, hey, can I test drive that thing? And the guy's like, no, we don't allow test drives at this time, but here's a video of someone driving the car. Enjoy. You're like, what? No, I want to get in the car, and I don't drive, so I want to get in the car and shift the stick. I don't know. But you want to play with it. I mean, first of all, the specifications of your computer might not be compatible with the sample library. So you might watch someone and go, oh, this is great. Download it, spend $300, and find out that, your specs aren't really up to par. You might watch someone play with the sample library and they might not be using it in a way that you would use it, so it isn't really relevant to you. So this idea of demoing, it's out the window, because for $30 a month, well, in Canada it's a little bit more, but for most people who watch the channel, I know you guys mostly are from the United States, $30, never mind demoing, you can just have everything and try everything. I think on the website it's like 10,000 instruments. Just demo, try all of them. If you don't like it, $30, that's what, like a third of a cell phone bill in Canada anyway. That's amazing. So to me, it's just like, what, $30? What's the risk there? Chances are you're going to find something you're going to love, and then just sort of build your collection from there. So the third angle that I really like the Composer Cloud from is the angle of the emerging composer, and this making sense for emerging composers. Now, what do I mean by that? So when I was getting into the EastWest stuff, I kept getting, there's marketing and copy on the website that was like, it's perfect for intro students and people who don't have a lot of libraries. And actually the person who contacted me was very great, but they repeated this sort of copy, right? The sort of like, it's great for young people and emerging. And I was sort of hesitant. I was like, I'm not really sure if, whatever. But now that I think about it, it's actually brilliant, and it's true. It's accurate. If you are an emerging composer, unlike a lot of people in the scene like me, you might not be armed to the teeth with a bunch of sample libraries. You might not have your percussion, your strings, your choruses, your choirs, all the rest of it. And you might be sort of overwhelmed at just the amount of possibilities and choices out there. This is a great way to just get everything right away. And this is not middle of the road stuff. This is pro sound, beautifully sampled from all corners of the earth. This is EastWest, as I said earlier, very prestigious company, one of the biggest sample library companies, biggest players out right now. You have pro sound right away for $30. They have, I think they have a student offer with ComposerCloud, which might get you a sort of a fraction of the instruments for, I think, $14.99 US dollars a month. Anyway, whatever. So it is a no-brainer, and I forget that because I have sort of surrogates. I have proxies by other companies to match everything that a lot of hand signs, huh? To match everything that EastWest is doing. So I have my Hollywood strings proxy, and I have some percussion proxy stuff, and I have a violin, solo violin that I quite like. But for a lot of people who don't, or who have all those things that I have, and they want to branch out and have duplicates, or not duplicates, excuse me, versions of those that are made by EastWest to give them a different flavor, you can do that for $30. I think it's genius, and I hadn't thought of it before, and it is excellent copy. It makes perfect sense. So I really think that is a point worth driving home. A lot of the people on this channel are new to the composing world, and I think it makes sense. The value proposition is sound. It makes sense. So getting very Donald Trump here. Oh, focus on me, camera. There we go. We're back. Now, some more pros. One of the big pros that I have is the Silk, the Ethnic series, is unparalleled. I'll just say it. If you want to disagree with me in the comments, I think I'm right. I have not heard, for the price, for the sample quality, the quality of the articulations, the lengths that EastWest Quantum Leap went to get the sounds in the Ethnic series. I'm talking Silk, Raw, I'm talking Gypsy, I'm talking Storm Drums a little bit. You will not find a better value. You just won't. I know Native Instruments has a great Africa series and a great India series, and it's pretty good. They've added some sort of rhythmic elements to sort of spice it up a little bit. It doesn't sound as good. To me, it doesn't. I love Native. You guys know that I love Native Instruments, but it doesn't sound as good. So I have to be honest and say that, to me, a major selling point, if you guys are going to be, I mean, look at Doctor Strange, right? One of the latest Marvel movies. Listen to that. You'll find a lot of really ethnic instruments in there, a lot of really beautiful sort of ancient strings and duduks and all this stuff. Like, I don't have empirical proof, but I bet a lot of it came, or at least started in the mock-ups with EastWest, with their maybe Silk, probably Raw. But anyway, you won't find a better ethnic series. You just won't, in my view. But you won't, in my opinion. But you won't. Anyway, so let's move on to sort of the final section of the pros. The last sort of pro here is Sound on Sound magazine. What am I talking about? Sound on Sound magazine is one of the most important, if not the most important, critical voice in the audio software and hardware community. When they give their product their blessing, it means if you're a new company or old company, whatever, you're going in the right direction. And if you have Sound on Sound in your corner endorsing you, that's a really good thing. Sound on Sound has been in the corner of EastWest Quantum Leap for a very long time. And their word is probably as important as maybe Rolling Stone magazine's was in the 1970s with respect to, music criticism. If you ever actually go to the library and open up like an edition of Rolling Stone magazine from the 70s, I mean, it was just, anyway. They can move units, and they have been in EastWest's corner for a long time. So you have that kind of critical, established voice pushing EastWest. And when I say that they're one of the biggest players, if not the biggest players in the sample library game, this is what I'm talking about. They have a reputation for quality and professionalism and all the rest of it. So you're getting a quality product is all I'm trying to say. The reputation is there. This is not a new company. These are not new players. These guys are established professionals creating really, really great stuff. So the fact that you get all their stuff for $30 a month, if you told someone that 5 years ago, when EastWest was still pumping out great stuff as they are now, they'd be like, well, no, they're never going to do that. But they are. So that's all I'm going to say. There are some cons. There are some thorns. We'll get into them. So the first is Ilock. Now, when I say Ilock, some of you will have no idea what I'm talking about. Some of you will want to lie down on the floor and count to 10 because you're so frustrated. at just hearing the sound of those words, those syllables, Ilock. Ilock is an anti-piracy sort of software. It uses the PACE sort of encryption technology or whatever. And a lot of companies like to use it because it's pretty good as far as protecting them from losing sales and all the rest of it. It used to be that you had to get a dongle, a USB stick. We're at USB 3 now. We've just moved past 2, and now they have 3, which is like this metallic dongle. The good news is you don't have to buy a dongle to use the Composer Cloud. You don't. Anyone who tells you, oh, EastWest, I don't want it, whatever. But you still have to deal with Ilock. And these guys have a kind of messy public image. I'll just be honest. You have to deal with, the drivers and updating the software and all the rest of it. But you don't have to do what a lot of people used to have to do, which is pay $60-$70, get a USB stick, click it in, whatever. To create an account, it's free. If you want to use Composer Cloud, it's, I think, Ilock Machine. It's online, totally free, very easy to use, but it's still Ilock. I have never had a problem with Ilock. I just haven't. I've had 3 Ilock USB sticks, never had a problem. But go to the forums, go online, Google Ilock or whatever, and you will get plenty of people who have a lot of strong opinions about that company and the software and the services. I have never had a problem. Just to let you know what you're getting into, Ilock. That being said, I've never had a problem. Ask me a question, leave a comment, whatever. I will. Anyway, so the next thing, the play interface. Many people have complained that the play interface it's difficult to get your hands sort of underneath the engine, get your fingers dirty, get your hands dirty, get under the hood of what's going on there to change key switches and CCs and all the rest of it. I'm not sure to what extent this is true. I've heard people say that it's very flexible. I've heard people say that it is not. The reason I say I'm not sure is because I'm not someone who wants to change everything, manipulate samples, all the rest of it once I get a sample library. I want to use it for its intended use. Maybe I'll record something, bounce it out, and then manipulate it. I am not the kind of user that just sort of picks apart and tweaks and changes and remaps. I'm just not that person. However, that is something that people say, is that the Play engine is not as accessible and flexible as UVI as Contact. Usually it's Contact. People say Contact. But I have had great experiences with the Play interface. People say that it's difficult to use. I think that's BS. I think it's very easy to use. If I can use it, anyone can use it. Let's just say that. People say that it's a CPU hog, and I want to push back on this topic of it's a CPU hog. But a lot of people come up and they'll come up to me. That'd be weird. They ask me online, what's the CPU usage effect? Is it taxing on my CPU to download X, Y, or Z plugin or library? I have difficulty responding to this because I have a 2013 Mac Pro 8-core, 64-gigabyte system. Now, not because I'm some crazy special person, but pro composers, which I guess I am one, are kind of like pro PC gamers, in that a pro PC gamer would never just, expect to spend 16 hours on EVE or World of Warcraft using an entry-level Best Buy laptop. They would buy a system that can handle the graphic and audio specifications of the game that they want to play. It's the same thing with sample library companies. Now, I know a lot of people are just walking in to the composing space. They might have a 8 gigs of RAM and they won't have like an SSD. They'll have like a sort of old style hard drive with a spinning disk and all the rest of it. I get that. But from what I've heard, Play, it's recently been updated, by the way, loads really quick and all the rest of it. But I just can't sympathize with that argument that it's a CPU hog just because I don't experience those things. And a lot of people at this level, by the way, again, not like pro or snobby, but just people who decided to make composing their whole lives, will swipe their credit card, take the risk, and buy a system that can just handle it. So I am not sympathetic to this argument that Play is a CPU hog or X plugin or Y sample library is a sample hog. I just haven't run into issues. I just haven't, because I'm set up. I'm ready to weather the storm of whatever sort of processing is going on with the software that I use. So, but just be aware that this is sort of out there. We'll end on this con, which I think is sort of a big one. There is a format out there. It's called NKS. This is a new format from Native Instruments, and they have a complete control series of keyboards. I think it comes in, standard 61, 88, and 49 or whatever. But If you're a complete owner, what you'll find is everything maps really beautifully between the potentiometers on the keyboard and the software. And recently, they extended the NKS format to third-party developers like Output, like Sonokinetic, like Sonic Couture, and all of these guys, they're competitors, friendly competitors, because they use the Contact platform, but still they are competitors, because as we all know, Native Instruments is in the sample library orchestral sort of game, have started to adopt the NKS format so that when you have a control keyboard, you download a Spitfire library, you turn a potentiometer, it links, mirrors perfectly. No need to map whatever, no need to grab your mouse. It links perfectly to a parameter that is relevant to whatever the patch or whatever that you have going on in that piece of software. It goes without saying that EastWest is not on the Contact train. They're on the Play train. They have put a lot of money and research and time into Play, making it work and all the rest of it. We might see a Play NKS complete Contact integration. I doubt it. We're probably not going to see that. So just letting you know, if you're an emerging composer, chances are, and I'm not saying this disrespectfully, chances are you've probably heard of Native Instruments before you've heard of EastWest. Just a guess. And chances are you've probably heard of the Complete Control series. And chances are you might have bought something like a Machina or like the whatever that maps really smoothly to complete stuff. And you might download something from EastWest, buy into the ComposerCloud system, and go to reach for the potentiometer. Like, what? I'm saying this because we're seeing more and more hardware and software integration. Ableton Live has the push. Native Instruments has the Control series. I know for a fact that there are a lot of other software-based companies that are working on hardware. This is happening more and more because people want that integration. It makes good business sense as well. Now, that's not to say that if you have a Native Instruments Complete Control piece of gear, if you have the FITAR keyboard, you can't use EastWest. Of course you can, but it's not on the NKS format, meaning that you grab a slider, you grab a fader, whatever, and instantly you're manipulating things on the Play system. It's Play, it's not Contact. So hopefully you guys know what I'm getting at. I'm bringing this up, as I said, because I see this as a major sort of shift in the industry, and this might be a kind of barrier to entry for some new composers or composers that have sort of gotten on the train of Contact stuff. They'll go to EastWest and go, it's so much easier to sort of switch things and just reach for the whatever. So it's not a deal breaker for me, but you guys really need to know this, that this is not Contact. This is Play. And anyway, with that being said, what are my thoughts? Am I going to continue on this road with the ComposerCloud? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it makes sense. That being said, I mean, I have a lot of other sample library companies that are doing the Hollywood strings thing that I have, and I know really well. I'm excited to get into Hollywood stuff and all the rest of it because I'm very thankful that EastWest gave me access to this. But I'm interested to see what's coming down the road and putting it on the channel. So if EastWest have stuff coming down the pike, I really want to explore that. Because right now I have my percussion stuff, I have some choir stuff, I have, I was going to say ethnic, I don't. It comes from EastWest, mostly silk. I'm excited to see what they're coming up with next in the sample library realm, and I'll be happy to talk about it on the channel. And yeah, for the ease of use, there's just the basic sequence of, do they have that? Go to the website, download it on the cloud, boom, right away, it's in there. You don't have to worry if enough money's in your bank account. I really like it. So anyway, all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Hand signs. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. I don't have to tell you that anymore. But leave a comment, talk to me. I read every comment. And yeah, thanks for watching EastWest ComposerCloud. Check it out.